We are going to be talking with Vanessa Alzati of Anchor Training. She's the president CEO of Anchor Training and does really, really incredible stuff with TLDC. She's spoken quite a few times. You've been on our Crowdcast. You were on Community Day. It's just so appreciate you participating with us. I love watching what you do on LinkedIn, and in particular for the month of March, you were praising other women in L&D for Women's History Month, and that really stood out for me. So I'm so glad that you took advantage of my invitation to participate in this one, because you were highlighting everybody else, and I wanted to make sure that you got highlighted. So Vanessa, thank you for doing this. Everybody enjoy the session. Vanessa is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with me. I'm going to share a little bit of the backstory with the Women in L&D celebration posts. I had 5 of them, about one a week. It was nice that March was a nice long month. And the impact that it had not only on me, but also what it does to other people that are seeing the posts and don't really know what learning and development is all about, and kind of helping to reframe and rethink about what learning and development actually is and who is learning development. So I'll touch on that. And then we'll talk a little bit about how you can start your own Rethink Learning and Development campaign. So for those of you who might not know me, I'm Vanessa. I am founder and CEO of Anchor Training, and I've been making learning fun since 2009. I am a graduate of Rutgers University right here in New Jersey, as well as I got my master's from Northeastern. And I love fun facts, so I wanted to share one with you all, but I also want you to share your own in the chat so we can get to know each other a little bit better. But my fun fact is my first concert was Britney Spears. #FreeBritney. But my most memorable was a private Snoop Dogg concert in Mexico at a previous employer's holiday party. So if you could share your first or most memorable concert, there is no embarrassment here. I mean, Britney can sometimes be embarrassing. In Sync, I'm seeing I've yet to see them live. I've Justin almost every time he's come around. But please share. So you can find me on all the major social media platforms. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube as Louise mentioned, and Clubhouse. That one I'm still trying to navigate a little bit, but basically all the things. And it can be overwhelming. And I have to say, coming off of hearing Kara speak, she really spoke to me. She mentioned that she didn't pay attention to social media until 2016, and that's how I was. I was always head down in work. You know, I freelanced full time. I worked full time was an employee at a few different organizations, and I was getting masters, getting married, having kids. Social media was not on my radar because it couldn't be. I also find social media to be a little bit exhausting, especially in today's day and age. But around 2019, as we were headed towards like Q3, Q4, and I was projecting for 2020, thinking like everybody else, 2020 is going to be my year. I'm going to live out loud. It's going to be great. And I decided I really needed to put myself out there. And a lot of these sessions earlier today, Kara's in particular really spoke to me because there is this sense of not wanting you're afraid to post, right? And you're afraid to put yourself out there and afraid of what others might say, or what if you say the wrong thing, right? And some of that was also playing into why, I was a little hesitant to post. But then I said, you know what? Let's just do it. We're going to do the thing. I'm going to live in my truth. I'm the expert in my lived experiences. So let's just share. And so I've got I started going on all the different platforms, and I wanted to get out of my head a little bit of what I was seeing, and I wanted to share with others, but I also wanted to put a face to instructional design. So around the same time, little backstory history about my foray into just being on Anchor Training full time. I was in my maternity leave with my second daughter, and I said, I can't do both of these things and raise two kids that are a year apart. I need to focus on one thing. We said it was going to be anchor training. I had enough work to carry me through 2018, but I had to slap some things together really fast. A logo, kind of a brand, a website. And so around the same time, I decided to live out loud. I also decided that I wanted to rebrand the business so it felt more like me. And I cannot work if I'm not feeling like I am bringing my full authentic self. And I started doing a little bit of digging more in instructional design and learning and development and my quote unquote competitors, even though I don't really believe in competitors, but that's me. I saw that it was kind of a faceless industry. It wasn't a ton of people out there. If you went to if you went to a website, it was an agency or an instructional design company, you wouldn't really see any face. You didn't know who you were going to work with. And I wanted to change that. I wanted to humanize learning and development. And I wanted people to be able to tell you what learning and development was. I was tired of people not really understanding what I did. I was tired of people asking me. I felt like Chandler from Friends. Like if someone was going to do a quiz about me and say, what's Vanessa Alzati's job? The timer would run out, or explain instructional design. So I wanted to change that. And so when I sat down and I planned my content for March, I really had an opportunity. So I knew that I wanted to talk about something other than myself, although thank you, Louise, for letting me, for spotlighting me for Women's History Month. But I wanted to talk about other people's insights because I just feel like we have so much to share and so many experiences that I wanted to talk more about that. I obviously wanted to celebrate my female friends, that I knew in L&D and that helped me get to where I am today. I wanted to empower other women, women empowering women, and again, share their insights. And I wanted to get viewers of my content to start rethinking learning and development and begin to put more faces to learning and development, obviously outside of myself. So I think if you actually think about what a lot of our clients think about when they think of their instructional designers, a lot of them, like their vendors really, they don't really think anyone other than like a wizard behind a computer or anything like that. So I wanted, again, to put that face out there. So I went out thinking about this, this idea for March, and I reached out to women that made an impact on my career, whether we had just met in the last year or so, or you've been through most of my journey. And I just asked two basic questions. Why do you love learning and development? And what insight do you have for women in learning and development? It doesn't have to be L&D related, because we're not just learning and development professionals. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a philanthropist. I will slay you at a Bravo or 90s trivia game. I am all those pieces. I'm not just my business. And so I wanted to be able to speak to those as well. So this is what came to be. I was able to celebrate these 5 amazing women, one of whom, Marianne, she was my former employer. She was my old boss. And we reconnected last year through Patty Bryant's online Slack community, because we both went to a community hour and there Marianne was. I hadn't talked to her in maybe 9 years. And I wanted to highlight Patty, because that online community is one that I go to often, even today, now. And I love going. I was just at their community hour yesterday. I love going and chatting with everyone and just learning from others. I wanted to highlight Nicole Papiano. I'm sure many of you guys have seen her around LinkedIn and social media. She is a fellow Jersey girl like me. I just started following her content, and randomly we realized how much we have in common. Not just, we're both freelance instructional designers from Jersey. We both have the same computer, the same wedding date, and we even have some of the same friends. And she's someone that I go to and I look at, the content she's putting out there and her insights and articles on LinkedIn, and I really learn a lot from that. And I wanted to make sure others saw that as well. Oh, a little ahead of myself. I wanted to also highlight Kim Scott. She's someone that I met through Design by Humanity, a volunteer organization for instructional designers. And I just always was amazed by her enthusiasm, her willingness to help others, and her devotion to that volunteer group that I wanted to share more about her. And then know my story. You also know that a colleague took a chance on me and offered me some side work when I left my first job. And I wanted to highlight and honor her. And that's my friend Lisa. And that is one of the women that highlighted. But through highlighting them, I was able to gain insight, not just on the reasons they love learning and development, but more about the value add that they're adding to their personal and professional life. And it's amazing. I feel like learning and development, this is a field where all we want to do is help others, right? We're always willing, it's innate, right? It's the nature of the business. And anytime I would go to any of these women and ask for something or ask their insight or just check out what they're posting on their social media, it was all tips and tricks. And they were so willing to share more of what they know because they wanted to empower others to do just as well as them. So I wanted to share some of these tips, some of these insights. So Lisa shared, surround yourself with people who reflect who you want to be and always trust your instincts. Obviously, she was talking about me. Kim shared, and I love this, be bold. Don't be afraid to apply for that job, even if you don't meet every qualification. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You have a lot to offer and the world is waiting for you to share it. Nicole says my best tip for women in the L&D space is to not shrink away from opportunities where you feel less qualified. Embrace stretched assignments like Kara was mentioning and leadership opportunities. Don't wait for that perfect moment. We're all still in progress. Marianne shared, always work with the end in mind. You may have a nice learning solution with a pretty design, but if it's not aligned to the business goals, your value to your employer or client will be always short-lived. And finally, Patty shared, if you aren't in a community, join one. The collective experience and wisdom of those around you will help to elevate you. And in turn, you will help elevate others, and we need each other. So when you have a moment, I'd love for you to share why you love L&D and a tip you have for members of the learning and development community. So what did I gain? I tell you, my social media reach was far and wide. And this is just surface level, but I'm going to be totally transparent with you. It really boosted my social media. Kim's post, for example, reached 27,000, that'd be fun. LinkedIn members, Nicole's was 800. And I know that these posts are going to continue to gain traction because, well, LinkedIn's algorithm is insane and no one can really break it down. The reach is far and wide. And then I was able to repurpose this content. So now you'll see it on my Facebook and then you'll see, and actually now it's on my Instagram as well. But I'm able to continue that reach so I can continue to humanize and allow people to rethink what learning and development actually means. I have to say that social media growth on all my platforms has been steadily and quickly increasing ever since I started launching this campaign. And I share this with you because these are great byproducts of the campaign. But I just wanted to do some good. I just wanted to spotlight others. And I just find that when you are able to put some good out there in the world, it's like what I say about networking. Networking is not about what you have to gain. It's about what you give to others. It's more about, don't worry about meeting all these people to get the next job or to get the next gig. Just meet others. See what value add you can add to them. And the universe will come back and they will give you what you need, what it knows that you need. So what can you do and what can you take from this? So I want to empower you to start your own Rethink learning and development campaign. And I want you to use this session as a charge to do good and share how you are reimagining learning and development. This is a field that, as we all know, it's constantly changing. So let's highlight that. Do you want to do a crusade against learning styles? Then do it. Start posting about your insights about learning styles. What is the opposite of that? What should we be looking at instead? Start debunking those myths. Post those on a regular basis. Start your own hashtag so people know that you are the debunker of learning styles. Do you want to rethink Articulate Storyline as an authoring tool, as so many of us think that Articulate Storyline is the only option for authoring tools? Start that campaign. Help people rethink authoring tools. Share other authoring tools that you're utilizing and how you're utilizing and what you're gaining from it. Share opinions on what others are about other authoring tools. I will tell you, by some freak of the universe, my Adobe Captivate YouTube video, it has far surpassed all of my other videos, and it wasn't exactly the most favorable view. So share that. People are looking for other options. If you just want to think about how you can make an impact, just start with what you love and what your values are and go from there. Don't worry about being perfect. Your posts don't have to be perfect. You can pull them down if you really want to. You can delete it. All you have to do is just block a few hours on your calendar. I love calendar blocking. It's something I've been doing for the last few months, and it's probably one of the only reasons a lot of things get done lately. Block a couple of hours of your calendar that you're going to sit down and say, what is it that I want to share? What do I want to spotlight? What do I want to highlight on social media? How do I want people to view me? What is my brand? So think about how you want to rethink learning development and just start brainstorming, some posts on the wall, some notes, a little whiteboard session, whatever you need. What would you want to talk about? Who would you need to include for that? So if you want to do a campaign, highlighting others in the field, well, who would you want to highlight? Anything that, what tools will you need, right? What articles will you also need? Just make a plan. Just start getting all that information. And then all you have to do is just block out a couple of hours to work to putting together the posts, the captions, and then get them on your calendar. Use Buffer, like Kara just mentioned. I use Zoho Social to plan all of my social media posts. Just schedule them, put them on your calendar. And you don't have to use a tool. Just put them on your Google Calendar maybe and say, today I'm going to post about this. Just get yourself out there. Just push post. And then enjoy the ride. Even if only 5 people see your post, that's fine, because you already did something good for one person. You shared your insight and you shared a piece of yourself and you did something for yourself. So push past perfectionism, imposter syndrome, doubt, and just do the damn thing. Friends, thank you so much. I have a few minutes. I will gladly take any questions that you have, but please connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and I love, love, love to see your Rethink Learning Development campaigns. So I have a question here. How much time, so it's from Chris, how much time do I allocate to social media? Is it best to put it on your site, LinkedIn? So what site did you use to plan your social media? So like I said, I use Zoho Social. I do actually have my social media linked on my website. And at the bottom of my website is a scrolling panel of my, my Anchor Training Instagram. So I have 2. One for myself as like the CEO of Anchor Training, and an Anchor Training like business social media. So that's the one that's scrolling on the bottom. I usually allocate about 15 minutes per tool in the morning to just see kind of what's going on, what I can pop into, and then I'll check in the afternoon, and then a check-in in the evening. Social media can take a lot of time and you go down rabbit holes so often. And it's a wonderful tool, but can also be distracting. So when it's like my core focus working hours, I have to knock it out. And then you usually won't really find me posting during the weekends. The weekends are family time. The weekends are catch-up time. The weekends are hopefully sleep time, but with a 4 and a 3-year-old, that is not a thing yet. So I try to do that. But I check on Instagram sometimes, and I'll share Instagram stories. And don't be afraid to get personal about, your LinkedIn. I share my kids, I share my life. And I think that's important too, in order to rethink learning and development and rethink the workforce. We are not just not everything has to be, hidden. I'm a mom and I'm a learning development professional. Sometimes they have to blend together when my kids pop into a meeting, and that's just how life is. I really, really think that you should showcase more of yourself.
All right, well, Vanessa, I think we've hit our time. I really appreciate you doing this. It was fantastic. Thank you so much for all the share that you do. And I don't know if we should post your YouTube channel down, because I love being subscribed to you and seeing your stuff come up. Really, you guys make sure that you stay in contact with Vanessa. I'm kind of a YouTube fan, so she comes up on my feed on a regular basis, and I check out her videos pretty often. So make sure you do the same thing. Subscribe to her, follow her on LinkedIn. Vanessa is absolutely great. Next we have, what is it called? Starting Your Own Instructional Design Business with CK Digital Learning Solutions. Pop into there. I think for any of you freelancers, or even any of you agency owners like Vanessa, might be able to get some good info from Kathy and Christine, who are hosting that one. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, everyone.